Coach, your goal, as you've told us over the years, is for the team to improve month to month throughout the season. Where is the team right now in March? Are they playing the best ball in your opinion?
Um, well, that's such a subjective question. Um, you know, my standards probably a little bit different. I think there's areas we continue to need to get better in. Um, so I'm never going to say we're playing our best ball because I prefer to think our best ball is ahead of us. So we just got to continue to work. That's the bottom line. Just stay humble. Just keep working. Um, they they don't need that from me right now. Telling them how they're playing. They just need to keep working.
If I can, real quick, Coach, what areas would like them to improve or tweak?
Every area. Um, tweet doesn't come into it. There's not an area that you. It's like your garden. You know, the tomatoes look good today. Cucumbers look good today. Well, if you don't water them, then they're going to look good 2 days from now. So, for us, just keep working and um, identifying the things that has made us a good program around here for a long time, whether it's our pick and roll defense, our monsters, our loading, um, keeping guys off their dominant hand. We got to do a better job handling traps. We got a better job getting into our spots. Coaching a basketball team, Chris, ain't as easy as the questions you're asking me. There's so many, there's a litany of things you've got to work on every day so you can continue to be in a position to win. So um, that's where we're at.
Thank you, Chris. We'll go to Greg Bailey with KTRK TV. Greg, please go ahead.
Kelvin, good morning. How would you describe the impact that Joseph Tugler's having on your success here as you guys closed out the regular season?
Javier started every game last year on a team that won the Big 12 championship. Um, and his role is significant. All our guys have a role, and we challenge them all to be first team all conference in your role. Um, and the fact that you're going to be evaluated by us, our coaching staff, on how you play in that role is important. JoJo is key in our pick and roll defense. He's key in our offensive rebounding, even if he doesn't get it, because we keep track of tips. Over the years, I've convinced our kids that it takes two to get an offensive rebound, one to tip it and one to get it. And being relentless in that area is something that JoJo's become more consistent in. And then blocking shots. He has impeccable timing around the rim. Sometimes he surprises the referees on how quickly he can recover and go block a shot, and they just assume it's a foul. You go back and look at the tape. My gut on the bench said that's not a foul. So it's a great block, but sometimes they assume because he gets there so fast and he's plays so much bigger than he is. But those are the things. Those were the things that we recognized with JoJo when he was 16 years old. We thought he was a kid that we can develop into the player he is right now.
We'll go to Christy Reekin with the Associated Press. Christy, please go ahead. Christy, can you hear us?
I'm sorry. I'm unmuted now. Could you tell me what Milos has meant to your team and brought to your team this season?
Yeah, Milos was a kid that we evaluated extensively, vetted, watched a lot of film in different scenarios. I wanted to see him against Iowa State. I wanted to see him against Cincinnati, Kansas. I wanted to see him against the teams that played the best defense and see how he reacted. I wanted to see where his potential strengths, potential weaknesses were. And we brought him in. We felt like he could develop into a really good point guard because he has the one thing you can't teach. He has extremely high basketball IQ, and he's a giver at heart. So that means he's going to fit in well with four returning starters. You just can't take anybody. When you have four starters back, you got to be really careful about the kind of personality. Forget his skill set or what the numbers say. That's never really floated my boat when it comes to that stuff. But his personality, his willingness to fit in, and then did we think we could develop a little more competitiveness in him? Could he get a little nastier, a little meaner? And I think he was similar to LJ actually coming out of Baylor. Those were the questions we had to answer with him too. And now LJ is one of our toughest dudes, and Milos has improved exponentially just in about every area. I thought, the win at Arizona, the win at Kansas, the win at Texas Tech. You separate good players from special players by how they play on the road. A lot of guys' comfort zone is when they're in their comfort zone, and playing at home's a comfort zone for any team. Everybody's better at home, but Milos has had to learn how to play on the road and learn the mindset that he had to have and the standards that our program set and the expectations we have of what we expect from each player on the road. And that's another area where he's really grown. So really proud of Milos. He's been a great student, and couldn't be more proud of him.
On a completely different note, I'm working on something on the sideline attire of coaches and how almost everyone used to wear suits and now hardly anyone does. And you're one of those people that used to wear a suit and probably lose your tie before 5 minutes were gone. Can can you talk about your change and why you went away from the suit and to the more casual attire while you're coaching?
Well, the reason why we went away from it obviously was COVID. COVID is what was the impetus behind all the change. And now that COVID's over, a lot of coaches go back to it. I understand why the other coaches do it. And actually, Tad Boyle and I talked about it when we were at Colorado. Todd's a traditionalist. I noticed that Rick Pitino and Mick Cronin, guys that I know, do it. I don't wear, what do you call those zip ups or half zips, that stuff. I don't like wearing that stuff. If I wore that, I just take it off. So it's better not to put it on to begin with. So I just wear a short sleeve shirt. Tommy Lloyd got on me for wearing sweatpants on the side, and I really hadn't noticed that I was wearing sweatpants. So I went to more of a slacks, I guess, athletic slacks, whatever they call it, golf pants, whatever. Yeah. But people get on me for the way I look on the sidelines sometimes, but I don't really care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
We'll go to Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, please go ahead.
Good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning, Joseph.
Kelvin, as the regular season ends, the conference awards will start rolling out next week. I was curious, when you evaluate, I guess you can't vote for your own players, if I'm not mistaken. But when you evaluate, do you take into consideration more of how players play against you, or do you feel like once you're looking at the film and everything, you take a bigger body of work to make your decisions?
Well, you can't look at how they play against you. That might be the only good game they had, so that's out. I would say body of work. Coaches know who the best players are in the league. Um, I can go down each team. There's some guys having good seasons, but their team's not winning. You have to take that consideration. Some kids impact winning tremendously, and their numbers may just be average, and they may make the all-conference team because coaches see their value. But Kellen and KC usually come around and grab me, and we go into the conference room, and we always vote on our conference guys. And I try to respect the process and give it the respect it deserves, because these are awards that kids have earned, and I want to make sure we pick the guys that have earned it.
With your team and your players having such, as you mentioned, specific roles, do you think sometimes it even though you've had such a great season, that it's hard to evaluate your guys in terms of where they might fit in the mix? From, and I don't want to speak for other coaches, but just sort of the just because the numbers don't necessarily jump out, but it's not always about the numbers.
Yeah, it'd probably be difficult to. I mean, I know in my heart who should be all conference, first team or second team. I mean, I'm around them every day, so I know what they mean to our teams. But we've got some guys that should be honored for sure.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go to Manav Gupta from College Basketball Review. Manav, please go ahead.
Coach, 18 conference wins this season, obviously a 20-game schedule, but that's a Big 12 record and a program record. What are your thoughts on that achievement?
Pretty good, Manav. I don't know how other people view it, but I think it's a big deal. Going 18-1 in this league is unheard of. Guys don't do that. But you got to have some good fortune along the way too. We probably shouldn't have won the game at Kansas. We probably we had every right to win the game at UCF because we made the shot, but we could have. If that shot doesn't go in, we probably lose it. Not probably, we do. But if you focus on those two games, you're taking away what about the win at West Virginia? What about the win at Arizona? And these kids have had some unbelievable road wins. Just proud of them. Don't want to make too big a deal of it with a game left, and we got some tournaments coming up. But you guys do with it as you will.
We will go to Chris Baldwin with Paper City, Houston. Chris, please go ahead.
Hey, Kelvin. JoJo's committed one foul in each of the last two games. What have you seen from him over that span? And does it take a while to sort of, for a big guy to sort of realize how refs are calling a game?
Well, it's not as simple as that. I mean, it is not simple as that. Every referee looks at fouls differently. There's no objectivity when it comes to calling a foul. It's like calling holding on offensive linemen. Every big guy fouls every possession. Which ones you're going to call? I mean, guys are getting hit, guys are defending themselves, guys are moving their arms, guys are blocking them out, they're trying to get position. Some guys wrap their arms around. I mean, there's contact. So you say, well, JoJo only had one foul. Has he figured it out? No. JoJo's aggressive. Now, we work with him. We do a lot of film work with JoJo, and he is significantly better than he was. But I don't want to take away that kid's aggressiveness. That's one of the beauties of JoJo is his fearlessness. And if you start, you start taking, it's like that old quarterback. You start taking away those 2 interception he throws, he may not throw those 6 touchdown passes. You're trying to get him to be too conservative. So it's the fouls above the free throw line that's got to cut out. You know, reaching in our pick and roll coverage or grabbing a kid and throwing him to the side as you go to get the ball. Those are the ones I think he's getting better at. But inside, you know, depends on where you are and who's refereeing sometime.
Thank you, Chris. We'll go to Alejandro. Forgive me if I mispronounce this, but Compian. Go ahead, Alejandro.
Good morning, Coach. Quentin Grimes in the past week has scored a career high 44 points against Golden State. Then a couple games later, followed that up with 30. How fulfilling has it been to see him grow in the NBA and just, you know, thrive in a bigger role with the 76ers?
Yeah, you know, I talked to him after he got traded to Detroit last year. And then same thing after he went to Philly. His mom and dad are still real close to our program. They still come to our games, actually. But Quentin, none of our kids work as hard as Quentin does in the offseason. And when you know, because you work hard, that doesn't guarantee you're going to be successful. But you are guaranteed not to be successful if you don't work hard. And Quentin's hard work has been rewarded. I see what he works out in our practice facility every day in the summer. And most days is twice a day. Quentin's window, ever how long he's going to play professional basketball, whether it's 10 years or 12 years, he's going to maximize his opportunities because he's going to stay ready. You never have to worry about Quentin being ready. You never have to worry about him being the first one in the gym, last one to leave. If somebody's shooting 500 shots a day, you can trust that Quentin's shooting 1,000. Somebody's shooting 1,000 and Quentin's shooting 1,500. Nobody outworks Quentin. So when he gets these opportunities, he's ready. You know, Philadelphia's in a tough spot right now with Joel and the way their season's gone. But, you know, sometimes the good Lord just puts you in the right spot. You know, this is the right spot for Quentin's future. Whether it's with Philadelphia or with another team, people around the league pay attention. Every GM, every president, every assistant coach in that league pays attention to what the other 29 teams are doing. So you better believe that Quentin Grimes' name is on the tip of the tongue on a lot of people. So this opportunity is going to propel him forward. I could not be happier because it could not happen to a more deserving young man.
Thank you, Alejandro. We'll go back to Chris Baldwin, please. Chris, go ahead.
Kelvin, Ramon in his little senior night speech was saying that he wouldn't want to play for any other program but Houston. What does that, you know, that type of loyalty mean to you? You know, especially from a guy like Ramon who probably hasn't gotten, you know, as much attention as some guys.
Well, I'll never forget Ramon's freshman year. He had surgery on his hand. He and Kyler Edwards were going after a loose ball, and I think Kyler rolled over on his hands. Obviously, it was a fluke injury. And it's amazing how that happened. The timing of his injury, actually the time of him coming back, because Tremont Mark had surgery the morning of December 23rd. I think Ramon came back on the 22nd or 1st for practice. Morning of the 23rd, Tremont has labrum surgery. And then that night, Marcus came down funny on his foot. I think he's just shooting a layup. He just came down. Felt funny. Get an MRI the next day. Marcus broke the 5th metatarsal in his left foot. That same night, Kyler had a grade 3 ankle sprain, another fluke deal. So we're going into Christmas, and the only guards we have is Jamal Shedd and Tajay Moore, and Ramon Walker. And that's who started our next game at Temple that year. That was 21-22 season, I think. Ramon played 25 minutes in the Elite Eight, when Sweet 16 went and go to Elite Eight against Arizona. Made a huge three in the corner. Probably, we always talk about never losing our chip. That's a big deal internally here. But the picture that defines that is Ramon diving on that floor for that ball at Wichita State. Shovels it to Kyler, and Kyler dishes it off to Josh. Josh finishes it. Kyler gets an assist. Josh gets a credit with the made basket, but Ramon got his picture on the wall. And of those three separate actions, Ramon is the one that embodies the spirit we have around here.
Thank you, Chris. We'll go back to Joseph Duarte, please. Go ahead, Joseph.
Kelvin, my apologies to drop this on you, but given your relationship through the last 11 years with them, Ron Hughey just resigned as the women's basketball coach. And I know it's a business and this is part of it, but just, you've spent a lot of time with that program over the years, talking and, just working with the staff. Is there anything you could say about, what that, that man meant to the program
there's not a better human being on this campus than Coach Ron Hughey. Just a upbeat, bubbly, positive, always saw the glass half full kind of guy. You hate it, but that's part of the, we sign up for this. Ron's a big boy. He went into this year knowing that something good had to happen. But he'll bounce back somewhere. He's a good man. He's a good basketball man. It just didn't happen for him here, but I pray that things will work out for him going forward.
I don't see any other hands raised. Does anyone else have any questions for Coach here? We have time for one or two more if anybody's got it. Is everybody good?
Kelvin, any thoughts on Baylor? Just sort of, the second time around, how they look?
Yeah. I think the best pro prospect we've had in this league the last few years has been Edgecombe, DJ Edgecombe. He's gotten better and better and better. Norshad Omir inside there. Since we played him last, they're playing through him a lot more. He played really well against us the last time. And they got a bunch of bucket getters. They're playing their last home game. Jaden Nunn and Jeremy Roach come off the bench. That tells you how explosive they are. And they're playing good right now. Winning on the other night on the road at TCU gives them a big bump coming home. So just like every game we play, we're going to have to play well to win. I mean, they're coached by a future Hall of Famer and Scott Drew, national championship coach. They've got older veterans. They got the best pro prospect in this league, and BJ Edgecombe. And it'll be a challenge. They're playing good right now, and but we're looking forward to going over there tomorrow and playing them at 10 o'clock at night on Saturday. You guys get that? You guys get to 10 o'clock at night? Daylight savings time. So game get over about after midnight, and then we're going to have to snake that bus back to Houston, and hopefully we get back before the sun comes up.
Can we ride back with you?
If you don't mind sleeping on the floor, those guys kind of spread out. But hell, bring a sleeping bag, man. It's a good spot.